So many trees.
It's beautiful, right?
That's definitely not Boston.
Here we go. Okay, so what do you think?
Wow. This whole place is ours?
I even got him to throw in a whole forest as a new backyard.
You know, Amy, last night you said something interesting after the premiere. You said this movie, Pet Sematary, has everything you want in a genre film. And so I'm curious, what's your checklist as a veteran of genre films?
Well, I mean, you want to be entertained, and you want to be taken on an emotional roller coaster. That's why people want to go to a genre film, is they want to laugh. And they want to laugh at, like, kind of, excuse me, screwed up stuff. That's the PG version of that line. But you know, they want to laugh and cathartically experience sort of like the horror of life or death, or face death in some way, but also cathartically be able to laugh at moments and then be scared of moments and not have to face it in real life. Like you could go to a genre movie and be able to laugh at their pain, and you know, and
like
then,
The Simpsons.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they're like, I'm okay, but this is terrifying for them. Yeah.
Eat that pine cone.
Yeah.
Jason, for you, what was the creepiest sort of part of your performance working with a cat that comes back from the dead or a kid that comes back from the dead?
It was both pretty, you know, it was not nice. You know, I mean, that scene in the bathtub, you know, with the staples on the back of the head. You know, it's funny watching that last night because, you know, she's, you know, when he digs her up, and, you know, as bodies are, they're made up by a mortician, and I knew it was coming. And you could just feel the audience with the hair, washing the hair, such a beautiful, clean water on the down, long black hair. And then it starts to be tough to comb out. You'd already seen it with the cat, so you know, you already set up that it's not going to end well, whatever happens. And then it just parts it, and there it is, these staples down the back of her head. And you go, my God, that's right. She's dead.
I feel like we're living sort of in a catastance right now. Cats are having a moment
In a catastance.
again on the big screen. Somebody said to me, "Meow is our time." You know, cat lover responded to me last night. "Meow is our time."
Yeah.
What was it like, sort of working with? You know, Church is an iconic cat. What was it like working?
Church is an iconic cat, isn't he? He's a serious cat. I love that. I mean, I thought the choice of having a real cat and sticking with that, not having some robot, weird walking cat, you know. Because, you know, the book he walks differently, you know, but we just went with a cat that just looked different. It was there, that was, you know, it was like a character out of a spaghetti western, you know.
Especially with those long shots, yeah.
But just, yeah, the cats come back down the road. It's just like, everywhere I looked, it was like, I mean, I went through my range of expressions of this cat's looking at me. I'm looking at you, cat, too. You're looking at me, cat, I'm looking at you, too. Well, the cat's still looking at me. Okay, cat, we're looking at each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There was all those scenes of like, what you looking at, cat? I see you seeing me, seeing you.
In the woods today, LA discovered a charming little landmark.
The Pet Cemetery.
Place to bury our pets and remember them. Might seem scary, but it's not. Perfectly natural. Just like dying is natural.
The whole town's been using this place for generations. Folks make a kind of ritual out of it.
This movie, I think it's great that you play the sweetest character in the movie and also the scariest character in the movie. Which one was more fun to play?
They were both really fun because I got to see like Ellie's like evil motives, and I got to also see her sweet motives. So it was cool to see like how different they were.
Yeah. And so when you're playing, you know, are you familiar with the first film and sort of how it was switched in terms of the characters?
I think they probably chose like an older kid to do like the evil part because they probably thought that they like might understand the motives of the character more and like maybe get like more into the character.
And what were the directors telling you when you were going evil? Like what inspired your performance in that part of it?
The directors were really helpful. They really guided me into like, and I think they helped me get like really angry and like pumped up, and
yeah, because you do get angry at one point, and it's fun. That was fun to play. What was it like working with Church the cat? There were two cats, right?
Yeah. It was really cool because 1 second they would be like really like friendly, and then the next second they would have to be really like angry and like aggressive.
And so was that weird to watch?
Well, it was kind of cool because I saw like how they got them angry, I think.
Are you a cat lover or a dog lover?
I really like dogs, but I also find cats really sweet.
Yeah. And I feel like right now a lot, cats are sort of having a moment, on the big screen, and so what do you think, if you're talking to the audience at home about church, like what would you say to them about the cat in this movie?
I think the trainers for the cats were really good, especially since cats are like a little harder to train than like dogs. So I think it was really cool to see how they did that, and I think the trainers were really good.
What if like a pet cemetery like this existed in real life? Would you ever kind of try it out?
Probably not, because I think the movie shows all the consequences of it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely
but,
some consequences.
It still shows how like the family deals with it, and that's pretty cool.
And so if you were going to talk to the audience when they buy tickets for this movie, what would you say? Why should they go see it?
They should go see it because, it's very funny. It has a lot of comedy, but it's also very like sweet at sometimes, so that's also really good. Also has like, it's very active, it has a lot of jump scares. It also like deals with the question like, if someone close to you died, would you bring them back? And it's really cool to see how the family deals with that question throughout the movie and really sees like the answer, I guess.
It was a myth. Kids used to dare each other to go into the woods at night. They knew the power of that place. They feared it. Those woods belong to something else.
All right, so you guys make some bold changes to the material. It's a bit of a hot topic with this film. At what point did you have to convince Stephen King that these were the right changes to make? What did he say? Did he give you guys any notes?
Well, the time when we had to convince him was when he watched the movie.
No, but that's what's so great about him is that he's had so many books, so many movies adapted from his work that, and the guy writes like 3 novels a year. I think he gets to a point where he actually enjoys people not transcribing his work, but adapting his work, And some of his favorite adaptations are ones that did kind of stray from what he originally wrote, because as long as they stick to the essence of what he's saying in his novel, I think he gets that. And it was rewarding to see that when he finally sat down and watched the film, he got it, and he was a fan of the changes, and he got behind it, because at the end of the day, I think he saw that we were still fundamentally telling the story of Pet Sematary, just through a refreshed lens,
Yeah.
So.
And, I feel like cats are having a bit of a moment right now on the big screen.
Took long enough.
Yeah. Talk about finding church, because it's a hard cat to cast. It's got to be the sweetest cat in the world and the most menacing cat in the world. Looks very different from the church in the original film.
Yeah.
Was it a hard cat search?
Well, we were looking for a cat that matched the cover of the original hardcover, so we were going for that look, and we went out and we found some great cat trainers, Kirk and Melissa, and we showed them the kind of cat we want, and they went out and they put out their search, and they found
rescue cats, right?
Yeah, rescue cats.
Oh, they really?
They all found homes after. Yeah, it's crazy.
And they had a team of cats that had this look, and I was like you were saying, I was like, it's a real specific look. They're gathering up some of these cats. There's no way that they're gonna just find a couple cats that look like this that could just do all these things. And then like between there was like 4 cats. Most of it was split between 2 main cats. Tonic and Leo. Tonic being playing the nice cat in the beginning, Leo playing the evil cat. And like you said, you'd think it would be hard, but it was amazing. Like, I can't believe the things that they had these cats do. I just showed up on set. I was thinking, never work with animals, they say, and like these cats did amazing things.
They don't ask what their motivation is. So it's nice.
They know their motivation. It's food.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the unsung hero of this film is the sound design. I think it's incredible.
You're like the third person to mention that. Yeah.
I think from the truck noise to the combing of the cat's hair after he comes back, you know, just talk about how important sound was to you guys.
Super important. I mean, we actually had a conversation about that when we met those guys. E Squared was the company that did that. They did A Quiet Place. You know, they were nominated for. And I think they were really impressed because Kevin and I sat down with them and we just talked about like the theories of sound for like an hour plus over lunch. You know, and about like watching The Shining in film school and being able to turn the picture off and just listen to the sound of The Shining and understanding what the story was through the sound and being almost more frightened by the sound than you were of the images. So it was always about, you know, sometimes what you hear is scarier than what you see. And that's no better illustrated than in the chapter where they have to bury Church. And they take this long journey into the heart of darkness where they go up in the mountains. And that chapter in the book, you don't really see anything. You know, you hear the Wendigo, you hear trees breaking and stuff, but you never really see anything, you know? And so we wanted that to be a really auditory experience, you know? So the sounds of the truck, all that stuff, they nailed that stuff. And I think that gets under your skin and gives you a better visceral, you know, reaction to the film.
Yeah. What's going on?
Hug your daughter. I should never have shown you that place. Your child is not the only thing that will come back.
The barrier is broken.
All right, so why is right now the right time to bring Pet Sematary back to the big screen?
I think every generation has a different relationship with death. And I think we sweep it under the carpet as much as we can. We keep it out of sight. And I think you got to remember what it's about. So I think this was time, you know, I guess the last one was 30 years ago. Time for a new generation to experience what it's like to defy death.
Yeah, you know, you make some bold changes in this film. What did Stephen King think about him?
Fortunately, when he read the script, he was like, it's really good. And then when he saw the movie, not only did he really like the movie, but he was really blown away by our actors.
Yeah, the performances are really great.
They're fantastic.
You know, I think we're living in a time where cats are having a bit of a moment on the big screen. You know, Church is an iconic cat.
Yeah.
Talk about finding the right cat for the film, because
We
Church
sweated
steals
it.
a lot of scenes.
We sweated it. You know, one of the funny things about it is, like, you go back and look at the original cover of the book, and a lot of people say that's what Church is supposed to be, which is a particular kind of cat. Our directors are cat lovers, so the whole thing had this whole drama to it, which was awesome. You know, it was not just finding the look, but it was also finding cats that actually were a little bit trained.
Yeah.
So cats are not easy to train. And in fact, I was really worried about with this movie. It's like, well, what happens if the cat doesn't do what it's supposed to do? Thankfully, our trainer did a phenomenal job.
You know, and talking about some of those changes, what convinced you that they were the right changes to make? When were you convinced?
Well, I think our original writer, Matt Greenberg, came up with the idea of switching the kids.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I think that's a super smart choice is it allows you to get into the themes of the movie, because you can't have that conversation with a 3-year-old. So that changes the whole complexion of it, because you can actually talk about the things that this movie's about. And I think that, almost in anything else, is the biggest thing we did, because it changed the narrative of it in a way. You know, the conversations between the adults amongst themselves with the child. And I think in a way it made you understand even more the irrational decisions that are made.
And Jeté is a great find. Where did she come from?
Wow, it was amazing. You know, we were really lucky. We had several young ladies who did a really good job, but Jeté had something that, it was interesting. Some kids could do the really, really scary thing great, or the really, really sweet thing, but she's the only one who really went out there in both directions. And it's a demanding role.
Why do you think people need to go see this on the big screen?
I think it's a group experience in many ways, you know, because like a family, there's all these different elements in it. And everybody in the theater is relating to a different character. Oh, that's what I'm like as a father, or, you know what I mean? So I think seeing that as a group is far more satisfying. You sort of feed off each other.
Yeah. You know, the original Pet Sematary actually had a sequel. Is that something that you've thought about with this
Not
film?
really. You know, for me, I always feel like until you have a success, it's almost bad luck to think about it. We'd be lucky to have one. I'm not really sure where you'd go. The only conversation we've really had is there's a tremendous amount of the book that is prior to this movie. So that probably, if we did one, that'd be the arena we'd go into. It'd be a prequel, I guess.